Hello everyone. So today in this video, I'll walk you through a new feature developed by Microsoft, which is Power Pipelines. This Power Pipeline, it is like an automation which will allow the user to deploy to simplify the deployment process. Deployment process in the sense we are having different environments, right? For developers, we use dev environment. For tester, we use QA environment. Then production, all those environment. So instead of exporting the solution and then importing the solution, checking the connection references, all those things, you can avoid all these things just by creating a power pipeline. So this power pipeline, you just need to define certain steps. Like first, it should be deployed to the test environment. After that, it should be deployed to the production environment. You just define the steps, and you don't have to connect to the multiple environments to export the solution, download it, and then manually create the connections. All those things you can skip. So this power pipeline is basically, it is a part of Power Automate, which was previously known as Flow. Now in this video we'll go step by step. First we'll see introduction part, then we'll see what are the things that are required for installation or for running with the Power Pipelines. Then we'll see how it is different with the CI/CD pipelines, how the configuration needs to be done. After that, I'll also show you the demonstration by deploying any of the solution from one environment to another environment. Then we'll see how we can check the logs if there is any error, or what are the versions of the environment along with its benefits, limitation, and additional information. So we'll go with the flow. First we'll check. Okay, so the introduction to Power Pipeline, I have already told you in the beginning itself. Like, you can deploy the solution easily between the different across all these environments, and you don't have to connect to the multiple. It is the same thing, right? Now the second part is prerequisite. So before starting with this Power Pipeline, you need to have certain understanding and certain roles. So whenever you deploy the solution from dev environment to test or to production environment, everywhere it is going to be as managed environment, managed solution. Also, we need to create one host environment where we'll be keeping all the changes. We can track on the changes, all the installation processes, everything can track from there itself. It will act as a storage and management layer for this pipeline configuration. Now another one is pipeline application. So like if you want to create this pipeline, then you have to first install it. If you go to the environment, there under the resources, we'll be able to install the app, this Power Platform pipeline. Once it is installed and enabled, then only we can deploy the solution and create this pipelines. And the last one is access and roles. So by default, first, if you want to do all this, perform all these operations, you need to have the admin access. Also, if you want to share it with some user who can do the deployment, who can see the pipeline record, this details and all, then you need to give him two security roles. The first one is here, deployment, this one, deployment pipeline user and deployment pipeline administrator. All those things I'll be showing you after this one. So now another one is CI/CD pipelines, right? How it is different from CI/CD pipeline and with the Power Pipelines. So basically, see, CI/CD pipelines, it is mostly focused for the software development and deployment of workflows, enabling teams to automate the integration, testing, delivering of their code changes, all those things. But if we see the Power Pipeline, it is specifically designed for the deployment purpose within the Microsoft Power Platform itself, not outside the Power Platform. So suppose we have different things, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, all those things. You can come to the Power Platform and you can deploy all those things. So there's not what is this Power Platform. It is specific to Power Platform and enables automation within this ecosystem itself. But this Azure CI/CD, it will what do you call? You can do it with the Azure cloud environment, DevOps. You can do more research on that. Okay. Now the next part is, what is the next part? Is configuring deployment process, right? So here we'll be launching this or installing this Power Pipeline app within the host environment. Then we'll configure the environments. We'll add the deployment stages, and we'll check some dependencies, all those things we'll see. So to show you here, this is configurations, and here see this I have already done in one of the environment where I have created the environment pipelines, and you can see first we have to give the source environment, linked environment, and then the deployment stages. So this solution will be deployed to test environment, then to the production environment, and this is how it will look once you start the deployment. Deploy here if everything goes well, if the validations and all are successful. So now without wasting the time, let's go for the demonstration, right? So for that, this is my environment here, Dynamics Power environment. So first of all, we need to install that application, that pipeline application. For that, you have to go to the admin center. In the admin center, now you can see we have different environments. So here, currently I'm having some Dynamics Power environment here. I feel I'm going to show you everything from the scratch. So there's nothing to worry. If we face any error or any issue, we'll solve it here itself. So currently I'm having Dynamics Power environment. I'm going to create one test environment, test environment, region United States, and let's go with trial subscription, no, with the developer itself. And remember, whenever you create for this deployment, every time it should have a dataverse, this dataverse. If you go for the production here, you'll see that add a dataverse store. If you go for sandbox here also, you need to store. So if it is not enabled, then it will the deployment will not happen. So I'll select developer one because this is trial instance, and by default it is enabled. So go for the next one and click on save. This is test environment where I'll be deploying the whatever the things I have done in Dynamics Power environment. This one I'll be moving into the test environment. Now let's create another one, production environment, and this is also going to be developer. Next. Now let's create a host environment first, so that we can keep everything in one host environment instead of polluting it in dev environment or test or whatever. So let's create one host environment where I'll be downloading that application as well. Developer. Next. Now once this is created, we need to open this host environment, or wherever you want to install that pipeline. Okay, so currently I think it is running ready. Let me just refresh it, and inside this environment we'll be having here resources, right? Like here we are having resources, same thing, it will come here, resources. And now you can see Dynamics 365 apps. So click on that, and here you will see whatever the apps is installed in your this environment, host environment. So I'll just, instead of waiting here, I'll search for this pipeline. Checking the status. So just now we created the solution, right? So it maybe in the background it is creating some tables or something like that. That's why it's taking more time. Okay, if not here, let's just go back, host environment, click on resources, apps. Okay, now it is showing. So pipeline. Okay, it is not there. Fine. So we can simply come here, power apps. Where is pipeline? Environment variables. Okay, currently let's come here and see done apps. Let's search pipeline. Okay, here it is. Now let's click on the three dots and install it. So from here itself you can select the environment. Here like we have host environment, production and test environment. Earlier it was not showing in the host environment, so you can come here also and you can just install it. Now here it will take some time, right? Power platform installation started. So it may take some 5 to 10 minutes depending upon your internet speed. And now once this is created, I'll just walk you. I have some snapshots which I'll show. So if you come here, this one, not here. So I'll show you here. I have already taken the snapshot while I was testing it. So once the installation is done, three solutions will be created in that environment. The first one will be app development for Anchor solution, then development model app, and this one. So in all of this is the main app, right? So if you click on this one, we'll be getting one application where we can take all this actions, how to deploy it, how to add the environments, all those things. So let's come and check whether it is done or not. If you refresh it, you'll see that it is installation is still going on, right? So instead of this, coming here, and this one, if you go to the solutions, which solution, power, in the host environment, right? In the host environment we have installed that application. So at least one or two solution may have installed by now. See, app development, Anchor solution, app development, and this one, all these things are already done here. So if we refresh, maybe it will see that installation is done. Anyway, our work is done. So now let's open this one. Here, let's open this solution. And if you go to the apps, we'll see there is one app installed, deployment pipeline configuration. So let's just play it, and here itself all these things will be configuring. Yes, this one, let's make it. So here you can see we have pipeline dashboard. If whenever we carry some different deployment, all those, it will create some pie chart or some line chart, whatever, and it will be visible here. So this is the environment which we'll be adding, and then this is the pipelines. Run history will be checking, solution artifacts, all these things we'll see after the deployment. So before that, if we see the environment here, all those environments should be managed. Okay, so let's come here, and first one was test environment. No, sorry, this one. If you go to here, enable managed environments, enable. Same thing we need to do for all these things. It should be managed. Otherwise, again, it may throw some error at the end. So enable test as well. Once this is done, and it is not necessary to enable this managed environment for the host environment, because we are not going to deploy this host environment. We are only going to deploy this environment, sorry, this solution to test and production, right? So now let's come here, and also whenever we'll be deploying it, we'll need this environment ID. So for this one, let's copy the environment ID, Control C and Notepad, production, and then test environment. So it will be required in the further step. That's why I'm copying it right now only. Without this, you cannot move forward. So this is test, and now the source environment, which is dev, right? Okay, so we have copied it. Now let's go to this deployment here. Now first of all, we are going to add the environments, so that in the pipeline we don't have to create the environment. We can simply pick up from the added environment. So come here, sorry, click on the new here. We are not having 1 minute. Why it is not visible? Just let's see. Maybe that installation is not completed by 100%. That's why we are not getting the new option, but basically we should get the new option here. Okay, let's come and check here. If we come in the environments, deployments, try again. This is my another instance. So in the environment you can see we have added, okay, added deployment environments, added one. See, we are having this command bar where we can add it, delete it, refresh everything. So same thing, we are going to click on add. If we come here, sign in, we are still, I think the deployment is still going on. It takes 5 to 10 minutes, so that's okay. So basically I'll show you the steps there itself, not a problem. So what you need to do is you come on new environment, and here you can give the name, like I'm going to give development, right, and environment type. So development environment means this will be the source environment, and from here it's going to be deployed to the, what do you call that, target environment in like Q environment or production environment. So here first one you need to choose development environment, and here you copy this one, dev, and paste it here, right? Paste it here and click on save. Once you click on save, currently we are having the validation as pending, right? So once you click on save and wait for hardly 30 seconds, it will validate and it will give you like success. So why it is not showing? Pipelines here also, okay, it will take some time, not a problem. So meanwhile I'll show you here itself in the environment. The steps are same. So here, right, so click on, currently I'm going to discharge it. I'll just delete all this environment, delete it. In the pipeline also I'm going to delete it so that I can show you from the scratch. Delete it. Okay. But now here the environment IDs are different, right? So here Dynamics Power, this ID is this one D3. So coming here, add environment, click on new and give development environment, development type ID, click on save. Validation is still pending. Refresh it. It is success now, right? Now in the same way I'm going to carry out this deployment for test environment as well as for production, right? So I'll click on new and I'll take, just remove this one. Need to copy the environment ID for test as well as production environment ID, deployment, click on new, test environment. Here this is the target environment. Click on save. Again it will be successful. Meanwhile let's copy production environment ID, If you refresh it, it should be successful. Yes. Now production environment target. So remember, whenever if you want some solution to be deployed to production environment or any environment, you need to select target environment. Save it, save and close. So we have now added the environments. If you come to the environments, you'll see that these are the environments added, right? Now I'm going to create the pipeline where we can select which environments should be chosen for the as a source and which should be chosen for the deployment. So click on the new, name deployment power dynamics. If you want to add anything, notes, you can add. So currently you can see that these subgrids are not enabled. So once you click on save, now here we'll get an option to either create an environment or add the existing environment for link development and for deployment stages. So I have already added the environments here. So just click on add existing, and my first one was development. Click on add. It's adding. Now in the deployment stages, I'm going to click on, sorry, not okay, deployment is. So now this is the source one, right? Now here I'll choose test deployment, and now here we'll be deploying it through various what do you call that, environments, right? So for the test environment, I don't want any previous step, but if when we carry it to the production or pre-production, I want this test environment to be completed. For that, in that case, we need to enable this one checkbox. So currently, let's know this one, sorry, not this one, let's cancel it. Selected environment, sorry, target environment, I want it as a test. Pre-development, save and close. Now again new development stage, production, deployment, and here I want the pre-step. So first test deployment should be done, after that only production should be done. Before that it should not happen. Save and close. So now let's do the deployment. For that, we have already created the environment pipeline, and let's go to the solution, sorry, to the environment where we have created, right? So the environment is not test, but the host environment, right? Host, where is host? Okay, let me just refresh it. Oh, sorry, this is another instance. Here I have not created any host environment. Here I have done it in the dev environment itself. So if you go to the dev environment, no need to get confusion. You can either create a different host environment, or also you can do it in your main environment. So here also you can see that app development for Anchor solution, model app, these things are created, right? So now in the solution, once that thing, the pipeline is installed, you will see what do you call, let's open this. I want to deploy this, okay, let's create a new solution itself. July 17, right, solution. Select a publisher, create, and I'll be deploying this new solution to the test and to the production. So I'll just add some component here, tables. I'll just add AAD, this and this, right? Next, include, done. Now let's, if you open this solution here, you can see, if you click on these three dots, you'll see the pipeline. Either you can come here, or even if you go to the overview, you'll get an option to deploy it, right? So to the pipeline, here you can select the pipeline. The pipeline which I have created here is development power dynamics. Now it will show the development stages. So the pipeline which I created first was, it should go to the test deployment. After that only production deployment should happen. So let's click on deploy here, and now it will take some time to, what do you call that, verify the things. After that, this destination summary will, some check mark should come. So now you can see this is validated successfully, destination summary. Now click on deploy. So now what it will do is it will start deploying, and it will take some time, 2 to 3 minutes, and it will check the validations, it will check the dependencies, connection references, everything. It will be doing it in the background, and it will show that currently deploying. Now if you try to deploy in the production, here it is, there are some steps, like first this one needs to be completed. After that only you can start in production deployment, production environment. That's why it is pending, right? So let's wait for this test deployment to be done. After that we'll check this as well. Meanwhile, I'll show you how it will look once the deployment is done. See, here I have taken a snapshot, right? Deployment. See, once the deployment is done, it will show that last deployed this one, then installation version. Whenever you deploy it multiple times, the version will get changed, and after that you can deploy in the test environment. It is taking some time. Let's wait. So now the deployment is done successfully, and it is showing the details as well. So let's go to this environment and check if it is deployed or not, and here it should not be deployed yet. This is test. In test one, if we go to solution, this July 17 should be available here, July 17. And if you go to the production one, let's check the solution. It is not present here. So once I click on deploy here, again it will take some this validation, but exactly the same thing will happen. Next it will take 1 minute for this checking this summary and all, and after that we can start deployment, and it will be visible here. So if you have any Power Apps, Canvas apps, or anything in the tables created, it will be deployed to this environment here. Open it, and all the 3 tables should be visible here. Visible. Okay, here we have 3 tables, so it is working fine. Now also, like suppose if you have created some steps to deploy it, let's close it, no need to show. Which if you have mentioned some previous steps as well in the test itself, so it will not start in the sense test. It will show some cancel or waiting for approval, something. If you have some what do you call that, you do not have the access to start the deployment. Now let's see what is the next topic. If you come here, we have seen it. Okay, now monitoring and management. So let's see, once deployment is done in the pipeline, it should be visible here, sorry, in the run history. So here you can see at what time the deployments were carried. So these are the, when it was started, it succeeded, started, succeeded, all those things. So if you open any of them, you'll get more details about the operation details, deployment settings, deployment notes, when it was carried, all those things. Validation successful, these things. Now if you want to see the managed solution which was deployed, that also you can just come to the solution artifacts, and you can retain the backups here, including your exported solution, this one, when it was generated, all those things you can retain from here. If you go to the pipeline dashboard, you can see at how many solutions were deployed to the production test environment, blank without any details, and these are some graphic representation of the same thing. And if you want to add or remove any other environments, you can again come to the environment, add it here. If you want to create another pipeline, like instead of test and production, you want to define UAT also, pre-production, so you can just click on the new one and you can keep adding the stages here. Okay, now this is, I am admin, so I have done this. Now I want some other user who should be able to do this deployment. I don't have to do, so I need to give him 2 privileges. The first one is let's see here, I already showed you, right? Prerequisites. He need to have these 2 roles as deployment pipeline user and deployment pipeline administrator. So for that, let's come here in the pipe environments, the pipelines. Why it is not okay? Sorry, here in the pipelines, this one, and where is the environment? Close it. First we have to open that environment and we have to set it to the user. Go back, dynamics power, sorry, here itself we can do environment. Okay, here, so the environment was host environment and here it is dynamics. Okay, so open this one and in the setting we should be able to add the users. So users, add user, I want to share it with admin. Once this is, we have added the user to this environment, give user whatever. No, here we need to select that role. Okay, you need to select it. You just select it somewhere from here. It should be, and you can move it. Meanwhile, I'll just cancel it. I'll just add this Jitendra. He's already having the access of this environment, right? So now let's go to that pipeline, and from here also we need to give it to that user. So select this one, share it. Now I'll select Jitendra. And I'm giving him read access, share it. So now whenever Jitendra opens, he'll also be able to get the deployment options from here itself. Like if you go to the solution, okay, share it here, it has been done. So if he go to the solutions, he'll get this options to deploy it in this here. Okay, now what are the, it does have some limitations actually, and along with the benefits. So let's see what are the benefits and limitations of this. For that you can also check all those things in the Microsoft Learn website here. This is what are the pipelines here. All the steps are mentioned with more detailed view, and some frequently asked questions. What do pipelines deploy, and standalone, all those things you can go through it, and set up pipelines. These are the main contents for doing this deployment. Sorry. So for the benefits are like, it will help you to automate the task. You don't have to come and do the deployment or to do the manual tasks. You can simply reduce your time, reduce your work, improve the productivity, reduce the complexity, all those things. These are the benefits of pipelines. But for the limitations are like, you'll not be able to roll back in the pipeline. Also, lack of multiple solution deployment. It requires like separate deployment for each solutions. You can, if you go with the classic view, while importing the solution, we'll get the option of upgrade as well as override, but in this one we'll not get that options. So currently these features are not available. And this what do you call this, pipelines, this can be shared with the makers. They'll be able to deploy the solution without having to manually configure the deployment process. Okay, we can check the run history as well here. If you come, I already showed you, right? History, not this one. Where is pipeline deployment? In the run history, solution, environments, everything. So this is all about Power Pipelines. To learn more about it, you can refer to this. I'll be adding this references as well, and I'll be sharing this this PowerPoint slide. If you have any other concerns or if you have any doubts, you can just post it in the comment. I'll try to get it clear for you. These are the details. So bye bye, thank you.